Hey, everybody at Shit Talk Reviews. Thanks so much for swinging by and joining us for a little bit. My name is John. As always, Derek and David in the room. And we are thrilled to have with us tonight a guest, a New Jersey native, born in, I believe it was 63, guitarist, songwriter, huge catalog of music going back a long time. Just can't seem to slow down these days. It's great. His bands, his collaborations, they're huge. Please welcome to Shit Talk Reviews, Mr. Dan Lorenzo.
Thank you.
Dan, thanks so much for joining us, man.
All right, Dan.
Thank you for having me, guys.
It's a pleasure to have you in the room. I'd like to touch on all, at least briefly, all the bands that you've worked with over the years. Of course, bringing us up to current with Patriarchs. Start with Hades. Oh, no, I'm sorry. Was it Hades or Nonfiction that came first?
Before I even started playing guitar, 1978, March of 78, I started playing guitar. A few months earlier, I started calling myself Dan from Hades because I knew I was going to start a band and, I knew I'd get a record deal and be famous, Of course, that didn't happen, but I did start a band and I started playing guitar. So I got the name from 9th grade, Greek mythology. I love the name Hades. And there was some different, I hate this word, iterations. It's a new word I never heard of 30 years ago. But there's a bunch of different lineups. Like there was the old version of Hades, which we used to play in Metal Joe's basement from the Old Bridge Militia. And we were on Megaforce. And then there was the newer version of Hades, which released the first album. My best-selling record probably is Hades Resisting Success in 1987. And then I formed Nonfiction after Hades broke up on the European tour at the summer of 89.
Yeah, Hades, some fantastic shit. And Megaforce had some incredible bands on it back then.
Yeah.
Great label. Yeah, Sweet Revenge is a killer, man.
Oh,
always liked that one. Yeah.
I wrote that when I was in the 11th grade, seriously.
No shit.
Yeah.
Also, since we're on that too, I just want to say Cassius King, The Dreaded Dawn, amazing. I went back and checked it out.
Thank you.
As I Begin to Turn, just absolutely killer.
Thank you.
Awesome.
For those of you who don't know, that's Jason McMaster on vocals and my old Hades buddy, Jimmy Shulman, and Ron Lipnicki on drums. The first album Ron played on was Hades Damnation, and then I got him in Overkill. He met Blitz at one of my Super Bowl parties, and Blitz called me, I'll never forget this, man, on like a Sunday. I think it was a Sunday. They were leaving for Europe on Wednesday, and Blitz is like, yeah, we need a new drummer. How's that? Is that guy as good as you say? I'm like, Ron? I'm like, when are you leaving? He's like, Wednesday. I'm like, he doesn't even have a passport. So they auditioned him on a Monday through like 5 songs, and they got him a passport, and he flew out to Europe with them 4 days after.
That is unbelievable.
It's crazy.
That is crazy.
And then he played with Overkill for 10 years. So he's also the drummer for Cassius King, Ron Lipnicki.
That's awesome.
Do you recall who did the cover art for Cassius King?
Yeah,
I love that style.
Thanks, man. One of Jason McMaster's buddies. I'm going to be honest. I don't love either album cover. Don't tell anybody.
Really?
Yeah, it's not my.
Well, now they all know.
It's reminiscent of there used to be an old mag, I don't know what you call it, cartoon mag called Cartoons.
Yeah,
and it has that vibe, and I love it.
It's the guy who did Judas Priest. I think Judas Priest Defender, maybe whoever did that. Or
oh, really? Okay,
that's not. I mean, yeah. It's funny, man. Like I love the Patriarchs in Black My Veneration cover. That's
it's awesome.
Right,
that's great too. Yeah,
so gothic and just sucks you into a mood before you even listen.
Yeah, my buddy Josh Anonymous did that one.
Very nice. Cool.
I believe I know the answer to this, but I'll ask it anyway. Was there a musical moment or an album or an event in your life that, that made it clear for you that you were heading down a musical path?
Yeah. If you saw, you mentioned you saw part of my documentary. It's all about the Rick. So I'm in 5th grade, I believe. I was in 5th grade at my friend Scott Gallipo's house in Paramus. And he was playing me Kiss records one day, So I call him up the next day. I'm all excited. I'm like, I want my mom to buy me the Kiss Greatest Hits record. What's the name of the Greatest Hits record? He's like, they don't have a Greatest Hits record. I'm like, dude, the record we listened to, the Greatest Hits record. And I was so pissed off that he was being like, Mike, what's the Greatest Hits record? He's like, they don't have. I'm getting so mad at that. He's like, there's just an album called Rock and Roll Over. And still to this day, like Rock and Roll Over, Highway to Hell, Aerosmith Rocks, like to me, those are Greatest Hits records, man. Every song is perfect. And I try and make my albums. It's like, back in the old days, we loved albums. Nowadays, I just love songs. I don't really love bands. I love songs,
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Dan, being from Jersey, I mean, you go back to the days where, you go to Brendan Byrne Arena and see 10 concerts in a month. It was awesome. But did you cross paths with bands like Trickster and those local Jersey bands and those guys?
I got a picture of Steve Brown looking down at my feet, trying to figure out how I'm getting that guitar sound at the Paramus Community Center in 1979. So Trickster's like, I guess they're like 3 or 4 years younger than me. Although when they first came out, they were 25 years younger than me, what their press release said. But yeah, they're a few years younger than me.
I saw them open for Kiss at the Brendan Byrne. I'll never forget it. Funny.
You're killing me. You're killing me. I don't want to be in Trickster, but I would have loved to open for Kiss.
Yeah. Yeah. You should. You could.
So Patriarchs in Black. How did this come together? Why is Johnny front and center? Tell us about the relationship with him and how the band came together, because I've known about it through Eric and Johnny, but I don't know the genesis of it.
Sure. So it really happened because I did 4 Vessel of Light records with a kid named Nathan Opposition. He's in a band called Ancient Wisdom that did the first opening. They were opening for Ghost's first American tour. I'm going to Austin. I Google Austin stoner doom bands and Ancient Wisdom pops up. I haven't played guitar. I haven't written a song in maybe 10 years since I was with Blitz with the Cursed, I finally meet Nathan, I drive out to Cleveland twice, and we end up having so much chemistry. We put out 4 albums in 3 years. Wow. So we're playing shows and COVID hits. And all this time I was flying Nathan and paying for his hotel, his food, going from Cleveland to New Jersey and wherever we're, New York, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, Connecticut. So now COVID hits, he goes to Austin, Texas, which is a more expensive flight. And I'm like, the government's giving everybody free money. What the hell am I spending my money flying people all over, So I already have a whole nother album in the can. And it was the first Cassius King album, Field Trip. So while Jason's singing that, I write like another album. And then that became the second Cassius King album. And I keep going. I keep writing another 10 songs. Like I wrote 30 songs in like 6 months. So the guys at Cassius King is like, dude, you're throwing too much shit at me, let's give me a break. I got a job, And so basically I had a couple of more songs and I was in love with, and we had, already finished the Cassius King record. And I was talking to Blitz. I'm like, I think I'm going to give Johnny Kelly reach out to him. And Blitz from Overkill says, he's the perfect guy for your riffs. So in a long story short, that's how it all happened, is I just kept writing. And I don't know if you guys know this, but like I was recording a brand new song Monday night, and I record the guitar and the bass, like it's finished, like it's going to be on the album. And so it's just to a click track now. So I could send you some of these songs where there's nothing but me playing guitar to a click. And those are the final guitar parts.
Nice.
Oh, that's awesome.
Very cool.
So it's a different way of recording. It's like, we're not rehearsing, jamming together. It's not like, oh, what do you think about this part? It's just like, here's a song. If you like it, play drums to it,
Yeah.
What percentage of the album did you write completely?
Well, I wrote all the music, all the guitar riffs, but and then I wrote the lyrics and melody for the title track, My Veneration. On the first album, I wrote This Damn War and Sing for the Devil. Oh, and I wrote Crooked Smile, all the lyrics, all the melody, all that stuff. Nice. And then the rest, I feel like I always say to the singer, like, look, I'm going to give it to you. I hear stuff in my head. If you don't hear it, come to me, because I got some ideas. But if you want to be on your own, do your own thing, It's
such a great sound. And to echo what Derek said in our podcast, it's just rock and roll is so dead. And I don't care whatever you want to call it rock, but you guys just really brought it to the table and it sounded so good. And you just don't hear that anymore. And again, like Derek said, rock is dead. And if you guys are keeping it alive, it sounded really good, man.
So let me ask you guys a question. So you've said, rock band, rock music. So like when I listen to it, a lot of people classify it as doom or stoner rock, which is funny because I'm like the straightest guy in the world. And I saw your guys' Instagram. You guys like some really heavy bands.
Yeah.
You think of it as a rock album, a doom album, or a heavy metal? Like, what do you guys consider it classification wise?
I would put it at a really heavy edge rock, rock metal.
Yeah.
Because it is not your garden variety rock. It's got more balls than that. It's got more teeth to it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I would put it in the rock metal category. And I don't personally think there's anything wrong with that. There's a lot of amazing rock bands out there. Well,
Yeah,
historically, there has been a lot of amazing rock bands
Sure.
out there now.
I will tell you that my time with helping Sal with A Pale Horse Named Death, it just put me in with all the Typo Negative fans. They know who I am. So we did this podcast. I've had a bunch of people reach out to me, and they've said it. They go, I'm constantly looking for somebody to scratch the Typo Negative doomy itch, and this did it for them. A lot of fans. I mean, fans that are across the pond here in the US, South America, they're like, this is really, really good, but it's not Typo Negative. It's just has that doomy, gothy, just enough
Yeah.
to make them to make them feel it's fulfilling a need for them. And it did for me too. I heard little pieces in there. But there's everything from hints of Led Zeppelin. Obviously, Black Sabbath is, front and center, right? And
Right.
in fact, I often wonder. I think I brought it up. It's like, has Bill Ward heard this? I mean, those guys would hear this. He has. Okay.
Well,
So what
Johnny
did he say?
texted him. We did a couple Sabbath covers. The first thing Johnny and I did together was Rob Dukes on vocals, and I'm trying to think of the song we did now. I'm blanking. I think we have I don't remember honestly, but it was a Sabbath cover and a tough one too. And Bill Ward loved it, and because Johnny's the only one who's friends with Bill Ward.
Right.
So yeah, I know Bill Ward's heard at least a couple of the covers.
That's
I mean,
awesome.
Hole in the Sky is such a it's one of my favorite Sabbath songs, and I knew going through this you guys were going to kill it.
Yeah,
And
thanks.
it was really just, for me, it's keeping Sabbath alive and in a respectful way. It's not just tearing it up and doing a completely different thing with the song. It is legitimately taking the essence of it and making it your own, but also being respectful of who they were. And I love that track. I think it's just absolutely magic.
Thank you.
What was the process of roping all these people together? As well for both albums.
It's basically, so like I said, I finished the song on guitar. I play all my parts to a click. Then I send it to Johnny Kelly, and he'll send me back the first take, and he's like, it's perfect. He's like, what do you think? Like,
Yeah,
perfect. What are you getting? What do I think? So then he does another take. Then he does another. He's so funny because like I do everything one take pretty much. Even if there's a little mistake, I leave it. So Johnny sends it back to me, and when it's finished with the drums, I send it off. I just think of a singer and a bass player. If there's not already a couple of the songs I play bass on as well. But if there's not a bass player, we'll send it to a bass player usually, and then sometimes I'll send it to the singer before there's even bass on it. So it's basically once the drums are finished, the drums and the guitar are finished, and then I send it to different people to see what they think.
gotcha.
It's funny. We were saying on the last when we were reviewing it, man, wouldn't it be? I think John had mentioned it. Wouldn't it be great to see this live? And we were laughing like, it would be impossible. But man, wouldn't it be awesome to see this live? And really, the only way you guys, at least in my mind, to really pull that off, obviously, would have to be a festival of some sort where you can almost at least get half of the guys to do that. So I guess my question is, holy shit, man, would that be incredible to see? But can that happen?
Are we making news? Are we making news on Shit Talk?
Unfortunately, it's not anytime soon, but by the way, you look exactly like my old bass player, John, Kevin Bolenbach from Nonfiction. Not exactly, but similar. You got to check him out. Carl Agell was really into doing shows like when we put out the first album. We're trying to think how we could do it. And Carl doesn't live that far. He lives in North Carolina. But then it's like, is it not cool to not have the other singers involved? So it's just so weird. It's like, and then Johnny Kelly, he's playing every weekend with Quiet Riot, or if he's not with Quiet Riot, he's with one of his other bands. And there's not people asking us to come out and pay our airfare or whatever. So it's just, I can't say I can envision it happening anytime soon.
I have here's what I'm going to do. When one of us wins the lottery, what we're going to do is and John has a jungle production studio. What we'll do is we'll take over that whole area. We'll have a big party. We'll have everybody down, and we'll invite anybody and everybody for free. You guys can rip it up. I'll pay for everything. Whoever wins the
how
lottery.
Amazing.
Very nice of you guys.
It would be literally fantasy metal camp.
It'd be fun.
Yeah, it will be for us anyway. I don't know about you guys.
No, we'd have fun, man. It sounds great. Love to get everybody in the same room, or even half the guys,
That'd be awesome.
Hey,
Any
Dan,
chance of,
Okay.
any chance of doing it virtually, of getting everybody do at least to do some playthroughs as a
that's really
group?
interesting. I guess that would be easier, but I'm so bad with technology, man. I mean, I am so bad, but I have a studio guy. Like a lot of the musicians in this project record in their house on their own,
Mm-hmm.
whereas I actually go to the studio for a couple different reasons. First off, I don't know how to record, but I like having a second set of ears telling me if I'm a little bit, But yeah, I who knows? I don't know, but I just know it seems like this album is definitely catching on. We're getting, more fanatical fan mail, and
That's
Spotify
awesome.
numbers are jumping every day. So it's interesting. We'll see where it takes us.
Do you know Charlie Benante from Anthrax Pantera? He put out an album during COVID and he recorded the whole thing virtually. And if you know him, he might be a good resource to be able to pull this off and do a live version of these tracks virtual. I would love, and again, I think there's a lot of fans that would love to hear these songs live. It would be really cool. And you can do it virtually. I mean, like I said, Charlie was able to pull that off and during COVID.
Yeah.
You brought on some kind of unexpected folks for the second Patriarchs record. Obviously, Daryl and I mentioned them before, Emma and Jonathan on violin, which just I love what they did. And J-Rod. Unfortunately, I don't know the specifics about J-Rod, but did a great job mixing them in. They sat so nicely in the mix. They weren't too far out. They weren't too far back. Beautifully placed. And I thought it was a really cool inclusion to have some strings on there.
Yeah, for sure. And it's funny. So I know everybody wants to know how I met Daryl, but I'll tell you how I met Emma is my wife and I are leaving for Key West this Sunday. We go to Key West twice a year for a week. And back in November, when the record was, let me think. I guess the record wasn't even started. I forget. I'm losing sense of time. What month are we in? We're in October. So I guess I met Emma in April. That's what it must have been. The record was kind of coming together. And I met Emma at the hotel we were at. And she told me how she played the violin. And her boyfriend's like, oh, yeah, she played with Jamiroquai. She's done the, Vans Warped Tours. Like, she's legit. So I asked her if she wanted to play something on the record, and she said definitely. And then, it's so cool the way everything came together. Like, it wasn't like any big plan. It just all happened,
Yeah, that's very cool. Sorry, Dave, you mentioned earlier that you find yourself going more towards singles than albums and little snippets of music instead of big presentations.
To listen to, yeah.
Yeah, I wanted to get your thoughts on the current status of things, like, as far as music consumerism goes. With people, everything is more single serving now than it is.
Sure.
All three of us came up in a time when, you got the record.
Right.
If you didn't get the vinyl, you picked up a cassette, but you put it on at the beginning, you played it all the way through to the end.
Yeah.
And now it's not that way. Pros, cons, what are your thoughts on that? Does it matter to you that that's what the industry has turned into?
Yeah, I feel like we did it to ourselves. I feel like even some of the bands I love, they would get pressure from their record label, say, we need another record now. So they put out a 10-song record. And this is going back to the mid 90s when I was still touring, like late as 1993, I guess the early 90s. They put out a 10-song album. And in my heart of hearts, I'm like, come on, guys, like 7 of these songs are bullshit. Like, these are not great songs. Like, what are you doing? Like, so I just feel like a lot of bands rush stuff, or maybe they were doing drugs, which is why I stopped touring for a few reasons. In 93 was my last real tour. Like, I've done some festivals in Germany, but I fell in love with my wife, and I never drank, I never smoked, I never did drugs. So when I went on tour, it was always like, I was just, looking for women, and I wake up at 9 o'clock, and my drummer would wake up at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, so it's like, it was always so weird for me to be on tour. But I wonder if, like, a lot of those bands, like, I know Nikki Sixx has mentioned he put out, Motley Crue albums, and he just disavows, he doesn't like them. And he said he was just so drugged up, and the record label wanted, more product. And I think a lot of bands do that. Like, and I find it now more than ever, the older I get, I could write 50 killer songs a year if I didn't have a full-time job and I have other interests. So, like, it almost confuses me, not to be a dick, but why these bands that I love come up with 3 great songs an album,
So true.
Mike D from Killswitch Engage, we ran into him when we were in Boston, and Killswitch Engage is taking their time, and he kind of alluded to that with us too. Is that we've been in that cycle of put something out, tour support, get back in the studio, tour support, and they took a time out to write something that is of substance and that feels really good to them. And that's not to say that their catalog isn't feel good. It's just they took the time and they were in a position financially to do it. And I think bands should do that. Take your time and if you can, and put out the best possible thing that you can do. And you're a testament. I mean, this album it's magic, and it's authentic. And being authentic as a musician, as any artist, whether you're a painter or a musician, is always the best way to go. You're going to make the best art.
Yeah, thank you so much. And I think when I try to analyze why have I become a much more prolific songwriter, particularly over the last 6 years, I try and envision myself if I was in a band, like say just Nonfiction stayed together from 1990 to now, would I have written the last 80 songs I've written for Vessel of Light, 4 albums, Cassius King, 2 albums, now Patriarchs in Black? And I would assume the answer is no. I think the fact that I'm playing with all these different people, it energizes me and it excites me. And because I don't do drugs and shit, it like brings out my creativity. Whereas if I would have had the same lineup, like say Kiss or Aerosmith, maybe it would be a struggle to come up with 10 songs every 3 or 4 years,
Well, also, I mean, you're in control of your destiny too. This is your thing, right? And when you're sitting in a room with Gene Simmons, it's a pretty big personality to go to bat with to try to write a record or write a song, right?
I've been dying to ask you this all night. Militia Vox, the cover song "Friends" from Zeppelin. Holy shit, Dan! Unbelievable song, amazing. And she rips, and she's in Judas Priestess. She's been working with metal bands forever. Tell me, man, what was it like? What was that all about? And what was that like working with her?
So I think when I love Friends by Led Zeppelin, it's always been one of my favorite songs. And that's the only song that I've recorded since I got back into it, 6, 7 years ago, where I re-recorded my guitar parts 3 different times. I kept slowing the song down. Johnny's like, slow it down, and really slow it down. And we're like, who should we get to sing it? And I only had seen Militia once, and I interviewed her for a magazine that used to be around here in New Jersey called Steppin' Out.
Yeah,
so
Steppin' Out.
You remember that? Yeah. So
sure, of course I do.
I worked there for 20 years, actually. But
wow,
I guess Militia and I were email buddies. And when Johnny mentioned it, I'm like, I love her voice. Let's see if she'll do it. And she did it. And obviously it's ridiculous.
Oh my God. What a version.
We only released it as a video and a 7-inch single, extremely limited, I should say. But I don't know if you guys know this, Patriarchs in Black version of Friends was actually in consideration for a Grammy for a best hard rock performance. But
I'm not surprised.
Yeah, we didn't make it to the final round, but we did make it to the first round anyway.
Good for you.
That's pretty
incredible. Cool. Yeah.
I think that this album should be in Grammy consideration. And I almost said it on the podcast. And I even have thought about, tweeting them and being like, listen, you dumb bastards, listen to
Please
this.
Do.
I will. Yeah, I'll do it from my personal, and I'll do it from Shit Talk, and we'll get these guys to do it. And we'll see if we can get a momentum on it. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, Johnny, Kelly, and we can rent some tuxedos, maybe, right?
Dan, tell me about meeting the Pope.
Meeting the Pope. So it's 1994. I fall in love with my wife. I know I want to get married to her. And I know I don't want to dance because I just don't dance. And I think people look cool when they dance, but I think I would look corny when I dance. So I'm like, how do I do this? Like, I've been on Lexapro the last 8 years, but back then I wasn't on Lexapro. So I was like very anxious. Like, how am I going to get through a wedding without having a massive panic attack? And I'm like, oh, I know. I read this article in the Daily News. Like, you can have a wedding in Rome. So I'm like, that's a great excuse to not have, 200 people at your wedding and just have, a handful of people. So the Friday night we land in Rome on a Thursday morning, I believe. Friday night we meet the Pope. He's not the Pope, the priest who's going to marry us on Saturday. And he said to me, anything you want special while you're here in Rome? I'm like, yeah, I'd like to meet the Pope. And he's like, all right, Wednesday afternoon you'll meet the Pope. Like, I always feel like if you ask for things, you get it.
That's unbelievable.
Like, You just ask, sometimes people just, nobody else ever asked. Like when I was single, you asked the prettiest girl in the club, like, hey, you want to hang out? Like, why not? Like, what's the worst thing that can happen? Just ask people, tell people what you want, and you might be surprised by their answer,
That's great.
So yeah, we sat next to the Pope during Wednesday morning mass at St. Peter's.
Amazing.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable.
Don't tell Dave this. He's going to start going around asking for shit because he's kind of annoying. And
well, I think he's going to ask you for a shirt, so that's okay.
well,
Listen, I tell you what I'm
we'll
going
give
to
it
ask
to
for.
him.
I'm going to ask for Dan's phone number because when I come to Jersey,
Sure.
I'm so close to you. We'll go up to Ramsey and have a beer somewhere.
All right.
Yeah, for sure.
We'll have a water if you don't mind. I'll get the water.
There you go.
Nice.
We'll have a water for
So
sure.
can
So
I bring
what's,
up one guy who you guys made one little tiny mistake on the podcast that I was so in love with? You guys had thought that Carla Gell sang this song. Which song was it?
Digital Eyes.
Yeah,
I think it was. I thought.
Yeah, it's
That's my
actually a
bad.
guy named Kelly Abe, who I met through J-Rod. And Kelly's the youngest guy in the project by far. He was on a TV show called Search for the Next Ozfest. Sharon
nice.
Osbourne did not like him, supposedly, but
No kidding.
Well,
yeah, he's a
Mm.
cancer survivor, and he's younger than the rest of us, and he's really talented. And like I gave him songs on Monday, like the song Heaven Burn was the only old riff I had. It was literally from 1994. I never recorded it. Johnny did it. I think Johnny recorded it before. Yeah, it was one. It could have been on the first album, but it just sat there. We gave it to Kelly on a Monday, and he was singing in the studio on a Wednesday.
No shit.
Really talented
Unreal.
kid. Kelly
Wow.
Abe. He's in a
Nice.
project called Resection. He's actually working.
Thank
with
you for that.
TNC as
Yeah.
well. Yeah.
Tell us a little bit before we wrap. Tell us about J-Rod. What's the story? How do you know this person? I want them to get props because I think they did a great job with the record.
Okay.
And I don't know anything about him.
Johnny. He's a metalhead, but he's also like he writes. He's like a shredder. He's got a band called After the Darkness. I hope I'm getting it right because they changed their name. I think it's After the Darkness or After Darkness. And great guy, great in the studio, like just stupid good in the studio, really easy to work with. He lives about literally 20 minutes up from me in Pomona, New York. So it's J-Rod Productions. And people should use him more often to record.
Is he where you do your tracking too? His place?
Yeah, all my tracking. And then so I'm not with anybody else when they track unless they're singing one of my songs, like John Costco and Kelly Abe. Trying to think who else was there. John Costco, Kelly. So if I write a song like "Sing for the Devil" or "Crooked Smile" or "My Veneration," like I like to be next to the singer when he's singing, so I could kind of like sing the line, and then he sings a line with the good notes,
Nice. All right. So what's next for Dan Lorenzo? What can we look forward to?
Dude, I mean, this is crazy, but 2 weeks ago, I was in Mohegan Sun. My wife was sleeping. It's 5:15 Sunday morning, and I hear a riff in my head. I'm like, shit, man, this is a good riff. And I thought I would be kind of done with the music now that I just want to promote My Veneration. And Monday night, I went to J-Rod's and I finished the song. I play guitar and bass, and it's just so good. It's one of my favorite things I've written, but nobody's heard it yet. I think Johnny's in New Orleans right now. He hasn't even heard it. I don't think he's even listened to it yet. So but I'm just excited, man. I'm going to keep writing music until people tell me to stop, I guess, But when I got guys like you talking about it the way you do, it totally inspires me. And I'm being serious with the three of you. John, Derek,
hell yeah.
Thank you.
No problem. Thank
Really,
you.
seriously,
Hey.
thank you.
Hell yeah. Well,
Thanks
like I
for
said
writing
before,
a soundtrack to our life. I mean, it truly is for this this late phase for us old coots. We felt that one. That one hit us hard.
Thank you, man. Thank you.
yeah, we appreciate the music and continued success with you and Johnny and all the guys you're working with and ladies, of course.
Yep. Thanks so
Keep
much.
it going,
Awesome.
Dan. Just keep it going.
Okay. Have a great
All right,
night.
thanks much. We appreciate you joining us.
Bye-bye.
All right, see you.